People love to use strategy as a disguise for non-action.
So, like you were just talking about in terms of doing the work,
yes.
And most people don't do the work the right way. Within the concept of like doing the work the right way, whether you're planning a business or planning for your life, how do you view the distinction between like execution and strategy? Like, how much should you be planning for your work versus how much should you just be doing it? How do you view that?
It's a great question. For me, first of all, the answer is self-awareness. It really is, because for you and I, it might be different. But it's a very important question, right? Like, somebody once said something to me, he said, Gary, you know what I love about VaynerMedia? I'm like, what? And I was pumped, but it was actually a razz. He goes, if I told you to get to the other side of that wall, you would 100% get there. The problem with Vayner sometimes is you would, and we were in a glass office, he's like, you would run through the glass and get cut to get there when you could have just opened the door. He thought he was razzing me. I was pumped. I was like, because I got him back, and it's fun chess, right? I'm like, brother, the reason you're paying me is because you usually pay people who just sit in this room and debate going to the door. So I'm pro-doing much more than I hear. I believe a lot of my strategy comes from the A, B, C, D, E, F, G testing that gave me the answer more than me thinking I can come up with the answer. However, not having a good strategy is always a vulnerability too. But it's a vulnerability of wasted time that gives you context, like this investment earlier. I've already won by the bet. This could go out of business. The learnings over the next 36 months are ROI positive for the way I play. So I think you've got to know yourself, because other people are I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not capable of sitting down and doing type A work. Other people's chemicals are type A, so for them, strategy might be the strength. They fear the doing because feedback and negative feedback is scary. The reason we have so much unhappiness in the millennial demo is because the current parents that raised them, the most interesting dynamic I see in culture right now is 48 to 70-year-olds judging millennials when they were the ones that parented them. They're the ones who created 8th place trophies. I didn't grow up with 8th place trophies. They're the ones who decided that you have to compliment at scale even though it's not true, and thus your kids know it's delusion and they become insecure about everything because they don't know which one's true or not. So you have to know yourself. And I think you have to lean into what comes natural, whether it's the gray or the black and white. I'm only comfortable in no and question marks. Many need to do a ton of stuff before they can make that jump. If they try to be like me, they're gonna have anxiety in the same way that I would have anxiety to like put together a PDF. No, really, like if you asked me to make a deck right now, I would fold like a cheap chair. I'd be like, oh, D-Rock, I'd be like, look over there and run away. Like, I just can't, I'm not capable of doing it, which is why I was such an extremely poor student. But luckily for me, at a very young age, I leaned into who I actually was and went pot committed, and it worked. And I want more of that for everybody in here. And you don't have to do it my way, you have to do it your way. And that's why that's a very personal question, but those are the two ways. But I believe, I'm a big fan of doing. You can't read about push-ups. So, people love to use strategy as a disguise for non-action.